Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hot Mongoose session. This Hot Mongoose project is all about selling and buying edge compute resources. So my name is Wenyu from NTT Communication, and I would like to briefly introduce our participant in this project. The guy sitting beside me is Dominic with Amatus, and Richard from Equinix, and Neil from Versa Networks. So today, we four, as the representative of this project, will give you a quick introduction of the background of the project, why we are doing this project, and what we have achieved so far, and what is the takeaways. And of course, we will show you an exciting demo showing how we orchestrating the edge platform from different service provider. So as I mentioned, this project is all about edge computing. So I believe that 95% of the audience knows what edge compute is. And there's no doubt that the telecom industry has been paying more attention and has been investigating on the edge computing service as a potential value-added service driving new revenue. And the core concept of the edge computing is to provide edge computing resource, the computing resource close to the end user, compared with the traditional cloud-centric model, where the computing resource is in a centralized location. So this brings us a challenge that when we go closer to the user, the location, the edge location we have to manage, we have to provide, has more, has more location we need to manage. So this brings a huge challenge that I will touch it later. Sorry. And by utilizing the edge computing infrastructure, cutting-edge AI and IoT solutions are being deployed in order to, realize the use case, such as smart factory, smart city, smart mobility, whatever. There's lots of use cases that I listed in this slide, but there are more. And also, we are happy to see that the edge is penetrating in different industry sector. As shown in this picture, this is the real data from our edge service called Docomo Mac. So from this slide, you can see that the manufacturing industry actually occupied a large portion of the deployment for edge computing service. But we are happy to see that there is an increased deployment in other sectors, such as public service, education, construction, and so on. So what is the challenge? As I mentioned that when we move closer to the end user, so there are more and more locations we need to manage. So which creates a huge challenge that a single service provider needs to invest a lot of money on providing such infrastructure. So it makes it almost impossible for a single service provider to provide such facility in a global scale. As NTT, in Japan, we have a good presence, providing locations which is very close to the user, but it comes to a global scale. So we have to create a share model of the edge compute resource with other partners together to create such global scale service with the partner. So as I mentioned, as a service provider, what is the pain point is that we have limited footprint, and we have to integrate with a different kind of edge platform. currently. And also we see that our customer, needs to sign the contract with multiple service providers in different locations, and they have to learn, different specification of different service provider. So what make them a big headache? So how we solve this problem? I can still remember early this year, I talked with the MEF that we have a good LSO architecture, the framework. Why not we apply it to the edge computing area in addition to the network domain and create a resource share model among the service provider of the edge so that we can create a unified platform in a global scale. So that is our approach, as shown here, by utilizing the standard MEF LSO process and API and combined with the payload. So actually, our work is based on the MEF W132 document and combine the payload with the LSO. And in the demo we will show later that we can orchestrating the edge platform from different service provider. So I would like to give the mic to Dominique, so you can share with us how we implement it and how we realize it. Thank you.
Hello. So in regards to the solution, we, as Venue mentioned, we want to implement the best practices, standard, and payloads from MEF. But actually, we found that there are any for when it comes to edge compute. So we've crafted some, and they are now part of the VW 132 standard, which is draft. And I encourage everyone to participate in this further evolution and definition so we can have it finished. But actually, we use those standards to implement the whole journey we're going to show shortly in a demo. And the journey is basically about enabling enterprise customer to reach out to a single portal and, based on his preference, order in this very same manner edge compute from different providers, selecting which provider should be as transparent as possible so as to provide a consistent experience. He don't need to deal with all of the nuances from when dealing with different platforms of those edge compute providers. He has uniform experience, and our role within this POC was to blend it for him and also demonstrate, yes, MEF-LSO standard is flexible enough with these newly created payloads to connect retail service providers, so the provider-facing customer, with his partners, being edge compute providers, in this case, Equinix and Entity Edge platform. And actually, this is exactly what we've modeled, and we'll be showing shortly on a demo, that customer reaching to the Entity portal can place an order for the edge compute. In the first scenario, he will order virtual machine, and in the second one, some bare metal server from Equinix. And actually, MEF-LSO has been used as a perfect medium to connect distributed platforms from Entity and Equinix. We've demonstrated the payload can transfer all required details between the different parties taking part in the whole journey, and still providing enough insights for the platform and the customer to follow on the order execution. And actually, this is what we will show shortly in the video, which we can play now. Thanks.
This is a demo portal designed specifically for this POC, in which we can order VMs or bare metal servers by utilizing a unified user interface. In the first scenario, I like to demonstrate the VM creation scenario on the Entity's Edge platform. So I select a workspace representing Entity's Edge platform. Before creating the VM, I will first create the disk volume and then a logical network. Then these components will be finally attached to the VM in the next step. Now we are ready for ordering the VM. I will create a VM with the Versus SASE solution pre-installed and configure the parameters for the processor and memory so that they are totally aligned with the purpose resource requirement. Regarding the networks and volumes, I will use the ones that we just created in the previous step. Finally, I press the Create button to start the VM product ordering on the entity's Edge platform. The VM status will be shown as the pending status just after the ordering, but it will change to a running status after receiving the response from the entity Edge platform. In this scenario, I believe that you have found that the demo portal is generally designed so it will not depend on any specific Edge platform implementation. For example, you can easily change from the entity Edge platform to other Edge platforms developed by another service provider.
The next step in the journey is the reception of customer order in the Embraced Buyer instance. This order is comprised of 4 order items for LAN, storage, OS, and virtual machine. You can take a look into the order request received. The buyer order we've built contains all the data that has been introduced by the customer within the entity buyer portal, including details about the network configuration and VM configuration. In particular, this virtual machine will be connected through relationships with existing WAN and management networks. So there'll be 3 networks in total, which will be demonstrated shortly. So now let's take the order ID and navigate to the seller side, because he has just received over MEF-LSO APIs the same order request. We can confirm the order content is exactly the same, so the MEF-LSO payload looks exactly the same, contains all the details captured from the customer, 4 order items, with all details of customer will. We see configuration of network, of the Versa OS that needs to be provisioned. The order needs to be converted in the request, which will be sent to the entity Edge Compute platform using proprietary APIs.
Finally, let us check the status of the VM inside the entity's Edge platform. As you can see, a VM named Versus SASE Pop Tokyo has been created successfully and it has connected to the internet gateway. In addition, we can also show that we can log in to the VM console.
Finally, as the response from the Edge Cloud passed the same path in the reverse direction, the ordered virtual machine is finally visible as running in the customer portal.
In the second scenario, I will show a product order of a bare metal server to the Equinix bare metal service. This time I select the workspace named Equinix instead. Before we start the demo, you can see that we don't have any resources such as bare metal servers or networks currently deployed. Similarly, we will create the logical network in advance, which will be attached to the bare metal server in the next step. Now it's time to create the bare metal server. We name the server as Versus SASE Pop Dallas, and we'd like to assign 8 processors, 64 GB memory, and 300 GB storage to the server. Similarly, we will use the Versus SASE OS as the guest OS. After the creation, the VM2 server has been now shown in the server list here. Similarly, the demo portal is generally designed not only depend on the Equinix parameter specification. For sure, you can change from the Equinix parameter to any other edge platforms as you wish.
So we are moving now to Embrace Buyer again. But before going to the ordering, let's take a look on its product catalog configuration, which contains all of the product payloads we've used in today's demo, like bare metal in this case. We can find its configuration, like partners we can trade with using this schema, but also all of the details as MEF defines those, in a readable or in raw data. So exactly how MEF defines their standards and structures their data. So let's see the latest transaction, how we call it. So the order received from a customer who used Entity Buyer Portal to order bare metal from Equinix. Now this transaction has been configured in a way there won't be POQ and quote how MEF defines it typically. We go straight to the order. Let's take this order ID, as we'll check shortly on the seller side if he has properly received the same order over MEF-LSO APIs connecting these two parties. So we're moving again to the Embrace seller, being MEF-LSO implementation on the top of Equinix portal. And by searching by the same order ID, we can quickly check that actually this seller has properly received order with two order items, and we've also been able to transfer additional device ID that is required to properly configure Equinix equipment. So let's now briefly check on the Equinix side what has been actually provisioned. So we can see properly bare metal server that has been recently instantiated, and going into details, we can find the same ID which has been sent from Embrace seller, and we see the flavor selected by the customer. It's been running for a couple of hours as we have started recording of this demo a few days back, but it all looks perfectly provisioned. We can optionally also check its performance, the traffic it generates, and some more details about it, like detailed network configuration that has been configured, which confirms yet again we're able to use MEF-LSO APIs to connect enterprise customers with the edge providers. But the scenario wouldn't be complete without being able to check on the customer side that the bare metal server has been properly instantiated and it's up and running. After Entity and Equinix complete their provisioning of SASE POP under each platform, the SASE solution will call back to Versa Director. The director will then configure SASE POP using the pre-configured templates.
In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to use Versa workflow to create a template for SASE gateway onboarding. You navigate to workflow, hit the template. From there, you can hit this add button to add device templates. Device templates is a collection of common parameters a group of devices would share. In this case, I create a hardware edge template for the Equinix SASE gateways. I also created a template for NTT vEdge VM-based edge equipment. Going into this template, you can define a lot of parameters such as license details, interface information, tunnel, routing. If everything looks satisfied, you can save, deploy, or redeploy such template.
So as you've just seen this demonstrate that really using MEF-LSO APIs, we can connect different parties and provision in a fully automated manner, normally pretty complex deployments of the edge compute and network configuration. And MEF-LSO APIs were capable to be used as a transport manner to connect those parties. Why it's important, but basically it brings new opportunities for the edge providers, because they gain new revenue streams, and they can also use the fully automated processes based on the MEF-LSO APIs and best practice. But also, if you are an edge provider, so you're selling the services, you extend your footprint, right? You can offer more coverage to your customers. You can scale up easily to offer more to your customers. Obviously, that gives you new revenue streams. And yet again, it provides you with so much required automation of your processes. So that's the importance of that project. And actually, already, we have also contributed to the MEF community by defining the first drafts of bare metal and VM product payloads, and also to the APIs that we've used in this project. And that's not the end of the story, because the standard will evolve and will address all of the lessons learned from this project. We've already found a couple of attributes we may want to add, but we're also keen to listen from the other edge providers or edge sellers to learn on how to improve, how to make this really usable standard for everyone to implement. Thank you.